today. Back at it again. Um, Another one of our little toys, 2008 Infiniti M35x. Today we're gonna be working on the brakes. Not much done to this car yet. The only thing I've done is an engine intake, a couple little painting here and there, and just pretty much maintenance. But I've already got the car jacked up. If you guys want to look underneath, I've already sprayed most of the parts with WD-40, but jacked the car all the way up. I got all four jack stands, and then I got a jack here, the heavy duty one. Most of this stuff I got at Walmart. I mean, pretty much everything in my garage. Either Walmart or Lowe's, so it's nothing crazy. But I got the heavy duty jack, 'cause I got all my cars in here and my brother's truck, so that's multi-purpose. So the main jacks are holding the car up. Got the tires underneath, just in case something happens. And then I got the heavy duty in the middle. But just a quick look. I wanted to start making videos on this car. It's similar to the Nissan Maxima, but this is the all-wheel drive version. So I haven't really seen any good how-to videos on what to look for, what to see. But if you could look at my rotors, they're pretty much jacked up. For the past month and a half, they've just been vibrating every time I brake. So I figured it's time for an upgrade. I've already replaced the hubs here. If you can notice, I did this probably like 6 months ago. And I also did the stainless steel brake lines, which is not standard for an Infiniti, but I bought the kit for the Maxima, and it worked out fine, as you can see. Kind of cleaned them up before. I've had these on the car going on 6 months. I believe the power stops. I gotta verify, but I'm not too. I mean, as far as performance-wise, they're pretty good. But now that I took the tire off, the outer protective coating, as you guys can see, is already pretty much wearing away. This car, I failed to mention, I've already got 240,000 miles on it. There's a lot of miles on it. This is probably the third set of rotors that we're going on, but that's what we're doing today over here on the table. What I did invest in, I got these cross-drilled black rotors from Brake Motive. Not a bad price. I got them on eBay for about 190 bucks. I got the front and the rears, and they also came with the ceramic pads. So I'm gonna try them out. I mean, I put so many miles on this car. Might as well take a chance at them and see how they work out. They didn't seem that bad. I also got the Duplicolor ceramic, caliper paint with ceramic on them. Again, considering all the miles that I put on this car, I wanted to add a touch, but also protection. It's gonna look good, but at the same time, it's gonna protect the car's calipers from more wear and tear. Like I said, I'm trying to get 500,000 out of this motor, but that's where we're at. So next video, you're gonna see me taking off the rotors, the calipers, and I'll show you, pretty much steps on how to take these things off, put the new stuff on. We'll do a quick video on the painting, cleaning the calipers, and we'll go from there. Alright, here's the fun part. I've already loosened most of this stuff, and like I told you before, I WD-40'd all this, but I've also taken this out in the past, so it comes out nice and easy. Your car might be a little bit different, might be a little bit tougher, but generally this is the same in most of the cars. You're gonna need a number 12. In this case, normally you don't have to take the calipers off, the brake line from the caliper, to avoid bleeding the brakes, but I'm doing a whole flush, and since I'm painting these, I want to do a good job, so I've already took these out and drained the lines. So you're gonna need a number 12 here. This comes right off. Now, it's very important when you take this off, there's two flat washers on it, two copper flat washers. You're going to need one on the top, then the housing's going to go in, and then on the bottom. If not, it's not going to seat right. And inside there's a little hole. It's not going to sit perfectly inside the caliper and let all that fluid out. So those two go out, you put these on the side. I usually have a little bucket, save all my hardware. You're going to need the number 14. Take these off, which I've already loosened up. These are, again, easier. They're on the spring. Sometimes if they've been rusted in there for a while, on other cars I've had to take an open and wrench on the back side. It's probably like a 15 or so, and hold it so you don't break this rubber gasket that's underneath here. So you loosen this up, take this off, take these off to the side. And then normally if you're doing just a regular brake job, you can just loosen up the top one, take it out completely, and this whole piece just comes right off. But in this case, since we're doing everything, at that point, see these are tight because I was pumping the brakes earlier. These can just pry right off. Yeah, these aren't that good. Let me see. What happened was I forgot to break open the tires, the lug nuts. So I had my wife hold on the brake, and now they're pressurized. Comes right off. And that's your caliper. Some brake fluid. You might want to have a pen, let it all leak out. I'm gonna paint these like I said, so I'm gonna scrape this down, clean it real good. Then over here, I'm also gonna paint this bracket. You got 2 bolts of 22. These are extremely tight, so I got a nice breaker bar. You pop in there. Again, I've WD-40 these. And you just pull them right up. It breaks nice and easy. Top one, the same thing. I love the breaker bar. You don't have one, invest in one. And basic hand tools, no power tools. There's your pads. And the pads weren't bad. They still had some meat on them. You can see the uneven wear. See on the top? That's because the rotor's warped. Rotor's in really bad shape. Bolt comes off. You have the bracket. Now I'm going to paint these, and the new kit did not come with these clips. So depending on which ones you get, usually they come with the clips. But save them. They're in not bad shape, a little rust, but I can scrape them and clean them. But again, I'm painting these calipers, so I'm going to take them off. Do a good job. Alright, and if you swing around the front, you'll see that's all it takes. And your rotor should come right off. Like so. Now this rotor, you can see is in bad shape. It's been in there for a while. Normally if they don't come out, there's a screw hole here. You put a bolt in there, and you keep tightening it, and it presses up against the Jesus, got a brain fart. Against the bearing plate, and it pushes it out and it falls out. Again, I just recently put these in. They're really nice and shiny. But that's all to it. And then you repeat the process with the right side. So we'll grab the front driver's side, and like so.
How do you know which one's the front?
In this case, it's labeled. Normally, if they're front, it doesn't matter. But since these are cross-drilled and slotted, they have to have a specific spin. So that's why these are labeled front driver's side. Then the other ones will be the same. But if they weren't cross-drilled and slotted, it really doesn't matter. Fronts are fronts. And then they just pop right in. And then when you put your wheel, tighten them up. But again, I'm going to paint these calipers, reverse process, put everything back in, and you should be good to go. But I'll show that because the caliper has to be decompressed so you can put them back on. But that's step one. I'll go and do the other side, then I'll show you how to do the rears when we come back. Hey, what's going on, guys? Alright, moving on to the back. I just wanted to show you how this looks. The back caliper is a little bit smaller than the front one, and there's a couple of little differences here I wanted to point out. You're going to be using a 19 for, see if I can get that in here. You're gonna use the 19 for the first nut that's back here. And then you're gonna use your 14 here. So you can take off this caliper bracket. And then the same for the brake line, you're gonna use the number 12. I got my little bucket there. Because again, I'm taking off the calipers and painting them, so I'm gonna drain the whole brake system. I got my breaker bar. Now the difference here is you got this suspension bar that kind of cuts in. I don't know if you guys can see it. It kind of cuts into the see it down there. Kind of blocks your socket from getting into the hardware. So you're gonna need a both open end, 14 open end to get the bottom here, and then you're also gonna need 19 open end to get it. And it's gonna be a little tough. I don't have a 19, but you could use a 3/4 in place of the 19. But so far so good. I have the other side done. I'll show you guys that how it looks. This one here, if you guys notice on the back, it's deeper. I just figured this out today when I took out the other side, and your emergency brake is actually on the inside. You see here there's a little plug. You take that off, that little plastic plug. I'll show you on the other side. It's pretty much so you can take it out and adjust your back brakes. I'm sorry, your emergency brake to make it tighter or looser, however you see fit. Alright guys, I'll be back. Alright guys, here's the other side taken off. I was telling you before, here's the inside of that brake drum. This is for your emergency brake, and that little opening when you spin your tire, you see that little groove that goes in between? There's these little notches here, so you can stick your screwdriver in and push forward to make it tighter, backwards to loosen it up. But that's pretty much how it looks. You get a better view over here of how this bar is going to interfere for this back nut, so you're going to need the open end for this, and also the other bolt on the caliper. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, when I come back, I'll have the calipers painted and then installed. But it's a pretty simple mod, if you have the time. And like I said, I don't have major equipment, just basic stuff, and I got it done. Next I'm gonna do the suspension on this, but just show you how the brakes are gonna look. And there she is. See, here's that plug. Once you spin it, you can get your screwdriver in there and adjust the pads. I'm not sure if I have to do it on these, but I'll see. No, stainless steel brake lines, good to go. I'll get back with you. Hey, what's going on guys? Alright, we're back, and with the power of video magic, all the calipers are painted. Not a Pablo Picasso job, but they look pretty good. I apologize for the lighting in here. I gotta get better lighting. But yeah, here's what they're gonna look like before I install them. Nice and red. One thing I wanted to point out, if you guys see, when I first took them off, I set them up in order because I didn't want to get them screwed up, but they're all stamped, the fronts and the backs, left and right, in case you guys get them mixed up. But as you can see, they're all stamped. That one's stamped right there with a big R, and then on this one also, right there, if you can see it. If I can get this camera to focus. I'm not the camera guy, I'm the I'm the guy that does it. But this is what they look like. The back ones I try to see, but they're both exactly the same, which means that they're interchangeable, so you don't have to worry about which way they go. Alright, I have the existing brake clips that I'm going to clean up and put back on with a little brake cleaner, a little wire brush. You should get them cleaned up. My last brake job, I got lucky. I still have the other clips, that I never installed because I use the factory ones that came with it. So yeah, I got some new ones I'm gonna put on, make it look a little bit nicer. And while I was painting these, I had some extra paint, so I went ahead and I painted the little clip, the little arm that holds the stainless steel brake lines. So I pulled it out and I painted red just to give it a better look. But so far it's looking good. All right, here we are, guys, and after all the painting, unbolting, this is your final product. As you can see, your calipers painted, mounted. Here's your new rotor. While I had everything taken apart, this Infiniti model has this little bracket that holds the brake line. As I mentioned before, I do have the stainless steel brake line, so I just painted that. Adds a really nice look to it. But there you go. It's a really good look. Just want to make a mention about these brake rotors. They are painted black now, but after you drive them, the area that is touched by the brake pad is going to wear away, so that is going to turn silver. But every other area that doesn't touch the brake pad is going to remain black, and that's one of the reasons I like these rotors, just so that it can eliminate a lot of the rust that you see on the others, and the same thing with the paint on the calipers. Alright, and I'm going to show you guys the back. Alright guys, here's the final install of the back brakes. Nothing special, a little bit less complicated than the front. Your calipers nice and painted red and your rotors on. The only thing that's left to do here is to bleed the brakes, which I'll show you guys in a separate video. Nothing too complicated. Pop your tires on, make sure they're torqued properly. Drive them, test the brakes, pump them, make sure everything's working fine. I've done these in the past, should have no problems from here on in. Hope you guys liked the video, like the install of it, and if you guys like it, please like, subscribe, comments, questions, send me an email, and stay on the lookout for future Jose's Toy Garage videos. Take it easy.